Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And here's another development of show of good faith, I would say. And I am putting it in that category because just look at the timing. Okay, look at the timing. Finally, the establishment manages to mediate an agreement between itself and Imran Khan, in which finally they reach at least a partial agreement where Imran Khan says, okay, yeah, I'll help you take care of the crisis and I'll help you rebuild whatever it is that you've demolished. But in return, you need to back off. You need to stop interfering with civilian matters. You need to stop interfering with civil courts. You need to stop interfering with all the legalities concerning, my members and the public. And on the other hand, they tried to cajole him. They tried to make him consider leaving the country, saying that Nawaz Sharif left the country too, but look, he's still in power somehow or the other. He's managing his party and he's still in play. Why don't you just leave for a year and a half or something? And Imran Khan, I mean, this is the alleged news. Okay, and Imran Khan's like, yeah, you know what, that ain't happening, bro. So that's why, once again, these, because again, as I would say, the establishment knows that it cannot work without Imran Khan. If it thinks that minusing Imran Khan will somehow allow PTI to get back into the game and that Imran Khan would agree with it, and even if he does agree with it, by the way, even if Imran Khan agrees to step aside and let PTI come back into the governing parties and get the elections done and everything, but without Imran Khan in the mix, then I'm sorry, the public will not vote. Nobody's going to win anything, and the chaos will ensue. In order for the management, the state managers, in other words, in order for them to truly, show good faith towards the public of Pakistan, is to have Imran Khan himself back in the mix. So they need to understand that if they still think that they can have their cake and eat it too, then I'm sorry, they are just blabbering stuff out of their ass. So yeah, as we know, as a show of good faith, they first started releasing about 9 of the 20 plus known, and I'm saying known because it could be more than that. So 9 of the 20 known females, and young females and older women who are part of PTI as members and supporters, who were illegally arrested and detained, and the courts kept on telling them to let them go, but they refused to listen to the courts. But suddenly this time they allowed the courts to announce once again that 9 of these women should be let go. But remember, Khatija is not one of those women. Yes, Sanam Javed and I think Tayyiba are 2 of those 9, but Khatija, who was actually tortured, and probably still is being tortured. And remember that she is a brand name as well. I mean, she's a woman who owns her own brand in the fashion industry, and she's the granddaughter of the former Chief of Army Staff, Janjua. And, she has her own name, her own recognition as well, not just her family background, which is quite a prominent family background in the country. And the fact that they are still, and also remember that has a dual nationality, so she doesn't just have a Pakistani passport, and yet the Americans and you have chosen to sit back. Why? Because the Americans are behind it all, obviously. So there we are. I mean, we still have, yes, a few of the PTI male members have also been granted bail, but again, the courts have granted them bail and said that they should be removed from detention, they should be released. But have they physically been released? Have I seen them come home? Has any one of us actually seen footages of them being released and going home? Not yet. At least I mean, the last time I checked, not yet. So I thought that some of the courts had decided that if they grant bail, then the people should be released on the spot from within the premises of the court. So I don't know if anybody's again implementing that or not. Again, the core key members of PTI are still detained. They are not out. I haven't heard about Ibad Farooq, whose son just passed away, and he wasn't even allowed to see his son when his son was hospitalized. He wasn't allowed to see his son when his son was on his deathbed. and he wasn't allowed to even go to his son's funeral. So yeah, where is he? They haven't released him. So to me, as I said before, I do not actually see a sincere good faith here. All I see is that the army is like thinking, or the establishment, they're thinking that we'll just dangle a few carrots. But I'm sorry, nobody's going to actually fall for that. No, I don't think anybody's in the mood to fall for that. And also, nobody trusts the state managers. Remember that. Nobody trusts them to suddenly find an excuse to stop the whole process. So, but yes, I would. That is why I'm categorizing the release of Imran Riaz Khan as also a show of goodwill and good faith on the part of the state managers. Although the irony here that I would choose to mention the irony here that the very same state managers who said that they had nothing to do with Imran Riaz Khan's detention, that they did not detain him, they did not kidnap him, the intelligence agencies also refused to take responsibility, the law enforcement refused to take responsibility, everybody refused to take responsibility, the state managers refused to take responsibility for his forced disappearance. But now suddenly he's recovered, according to them. They're telling the mass media, as in they're telling the journalists, they're telling the mainstream media to say that Imran Riaz Khan has been recovered by the police. Yeah, right. At least again, it shows how we cannot even trust our media and our journalists, because obviously they've also been heavily bribed. They're so used to being puppets of these people, because after all, money is the real god. Remember, Pakistan may call itself a Muslim country, but Pakistan is definitely not an Islamic republic. You need to get that out of its name. Pakistan is in no way an Islamic republic. First of all, the rule of Sharia does not exist in Pakistan. Secondly, people over here are Muslims only in name but not practice. And you can see it from the way everybody's behaving. And so yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't see. And third, they don't really believe in God. They may say that they're Muslims and they believe in God, but they don't. They actually believe in money. Money is their God. I hope money oozes out of every orifices of every orifice that you can ever find of the human body from these people. I would love to see that. And that is going to happen. Definitely, that is going to happen, because we do believe that God exists. We do believe that He has made hell and heaven. And we do believe, those of us who actually believe, we do believe that He is going to give you the punishment in accordance to the crime you've committed. So if gold is your God, then you will live and die constantly in an eternal cycle of life and death in the lava of gold. And similarly, if money is your god, then money will be pouring out of every orifice of your body, in the most painful manner ever. And I pray for that. I really pray for them. To me, that is my curse to them, that they have that throughout their eternity. That they vomit blood, they shit blood and money all out of every orifice of their body. I would love that. So anyway, curses aside, and facts that most people choose not to believe aside. So here we have it that suddenly, at a very convenient time, right after it is rumored that they have managed to mediate with Imran Khan partially, and that Imran Khan has asked for them to show good faith. That is what I would say. I mean, obviously, he probably didn't openly ask for them to show good faith, but the fact that he asked them that they should back off and they should let the legal system work the way it should work, that they should back off from civilians, they should back off from, cornering other innocent people. So I guess that is probably their way of, showing good faith by releasing Imran Riaz Khan, which according to them, they never even knew where he was, and according to them, they had nothing to do with his forced disappearance. But hey presto, suddenly he's out when they want him out, and he's suddenly released. Hey presto. I mean, talk about bullshitting everybody. I mean, seriously, what do you take us for? Now, what do you really take us for? I mean, this is the height of shamelessness, the height of utterly pathetic moronicity here. And I'm going to create even new words. I'm going to coin even more words for them, because there are no existing words that can actually describe what donkeys, what idiots, what shameless twats they are. Seriously. Okay, so now what's happening next? What's happening next is that there's again this alleged news that there are plans there are basically plans being made to shift Imran Khan from Atak jail to Adiala jail. Now again, remember, these are people who underestimated Imran Khan just because he belongs to a very good, very decent family, because he himself was basically, he's a man who had decent education. He's a man who has spent most of his life abroad. He's a hardworking man. He's an honest man, a transparent man. So and all the other, most of the PTI members and supporters are also, they belong to the academics field or the scholastic field, or they're just middle class educated people, or they're people, even the poor people who are not educated, they're also his supporters. So he has basically at least 90 to 99% of the country who support him. But the point is that the main members of PTI and the main supporters, the active supporters, active members of PTI, they are all basically people who have similar backgrounds, where most of them are either abroad, or they've shifted from abroad, or they're just people who give more importance to education and having a life of hard work, and so they basically are those people who try to stay on the right path, or the straight path, no frauds, no dishonesty, no such things. So these are the people that never were interested in being actively involved in politics of Pakistan, because politics in Pakistan has always been run by those people who are basically, they have a background of corruption, of thuggery, of people who bribed and stole and sold and did human trafficking and sex trafficking. So basically a gang of criminals. And that is what Nawaz Sharif and his family and their members are, and Zardari and his family and their members are. That is what they have been for a long time, since the America had actively started interfering with Pakistan since then, which is more than 50-60 years, but especially concentratedly these past 30 years, with Nawaz Sharif and Zardari taking turns. And obviously the army again. So again, in the army and the judiciary and in the establishment, those people were placed who were parachuted there, or they used bribery to go there, or they were placed there so that they could be grateful for their position and forever be under the thumb of these politicians, and blah de blah, whatever. But these are facts that I've reiterated in so many ways and so many times that I'm myself getting fed up of them. But the point is that that is why the state managers, they wanted to crush especially the females, because remember, Pakistan, when it was created, the most active members that helped create Pakistan were females. And even later on, females have been very, very active, or had been very, very active in the development of Pakistan, when Pakistan was known as the fastest developing country in the world, when China and Malaysia and Indonesia and Korea and all the other countries suddenly looked to Pakistan and decided to, they were inspired by Pakistan. They even actually took plans from Pakistan, and they built their own countries, they developed their countries, they created their infrastructures, whereas Pakistan suddenly went under the thumb of the US, and Pakistan went down the drain. So all the plans that Pakistan made, all those blueprints, were actually used by other countries to develop themselves, except Pakistan itself. So the state managers right now, the reason they were crushing the females of educated class, the females who were entrepreneurs, females who were extremely prominent members of the society, who were part of PTI, the reason they wanted to crush them, the reason they wanted to crush their families, the reason they wanted to crush all PTI members, was because they wanted them to stay away from politics. They thought that they could threaten and scare these educated people, because according to them, educated people are mainly, because they're decent people, they're not rough fighters, they're not bandits, so we can easily crush them. But again, things went awry because they realized that we educated people, we who belong to the middle class, those of us who are in the academics, those of us who are in other specialized fields, we have a backbone. We may not be corrupt, we may not stoop so low, but we know how to fight actually. We're not like our parents, they were the cowards maybe. They tried to make us cowards too. They were the ones who always snubbed us that, oh, don't say anything to this person. Oh, don't do this to that person. Oh, don't say anything in front of that person. But yeah, no, we are not cowards, and we actually do not even listen to our parents anymore because we have suffered too much by not saying anything to anybody. So yes, we are extremely aggressive. You again and again I would say you touched the wrong generation, and the generation after us are police. They're even worse. They're even worse. So you're in for a good ride. So yeah, it backfired, and so now Imran Khan, they thought that they could do the same to Imran Khan, very stupidly of them. Again, they thought that, because essentially at the end of the day, he is, a man from a good background, a man who's never had to literally, stoop so low in his life. He's always had a decent career, he's led a decent life. But they forgot something. He's also a man who managed to create a cancer hospital, a trust that nobody else in the world could create. There is no other hospital anywhere in the world where cancer is treated for free, except in Pakistan, with the facilities and the equipment that Pakistan's hospitals have. And all those hospitals are those that are created by Imran Khan, right? And I think they have forgotten that Imran Khan is the same person who has made not one but two universities, and both have very good standing and very good repute all over the world. And again, they have forgotten that Imran Khan is the same person who campaigned for 20 plus years before he could become prime minister. He worked for 20 plus years as a politician, okay, to reach this point. Nobody had to do that. Every single person was literally handed their post on a plate by the army, be it Bhutto, be it Zardari, be it Nawaz Sharif, it doesn't matter. Every single one of them were literally handed over, their positions by the army and essentially by the US. This is the first man ever in the history of Pakistan who worked from scratch to build his career as a politician, and who worked for 20 plus years to reach this point. They forgot that, and that is very essential. It's very essential, because if they actually remembered that, they wouldn't have actually even tried to mess with him. And that's why it also backfired, because they thought that, oh, you know what, we'll put him in jail, we'll break him down, we'll make him psychologically, demented, we'll do this, we'll do that. But he never broke down. Okay. And then, they thought that, okay, fine, nothing's happening to him, we'll slander his wife, we'll try to break her down. Well, nothing happened there either. That also backfired. Then they thought that, okay, obviously they couldn't touch his first wife and her kids, because number one, they're in England. Number two, they tried in every which way to slander them. But those, again, I think people must have forgotten the Goldsmith family and the prominence of that family and the influence of that family in the world. So they can't mess with them in either case. Again, then they tried to mess with then the PTI members. And obviously they thought that, okay, in order to break the PTI members, we need to mess with their families and their children and their wives or husbands or parents or grandparents. And they did all that. But again, at the end of the day, they saw that the people who they really wanted to mess with did not break. And that is the women, the girls, the elderly, and Imran Khan. The young men, who thought so much of themselves, they were the first to do a runner. The middle-aged men were the first to do a runner. But the elderly, you have Shah Mahmood Qureshi, and then you have Chaudhry, and then you have the other PTI members whose uh, parents and grandparents were not at all involved with the party, but just because they were family members, they were, messed with, but they stayed put. And girls were messed with, women were messed with, Dr. Yasin was messed with, and still they all stayed put. So that actually made the public even more aggressive towards the state managers and towards those so-called PTI members, the males, the young and middle-aged males who ran away. That just made the public more sarcastic, more aggressive, more violent towards all of them. And the mainstream media also did not leave unscathed. The public is extremely angry with the mainstream media, and the fact that the mainstream media, even now professing money to be its god, taking bribes and pigs and porks and haram from everybody, they're still trying to work with these people, with the traitors, that they actually had the nerve to use the word recovered instead of released for Imran Riaz Khan. So you can imagine now what's going to happen to those journalists and to the mainstream media, and what's going to happen to the state managers, because two questions now are what the public are asking. Number one, if the state managers had nothing to do with Imran Riaz Khan, how is it that now, right after they are trying to reach an agreement with Imran Khan, right after they release 9 of the 20 women that they had illegally detained, they also finally managed to find Imran Riaz Khan right now at this particular time? And number two, how dare the mainstream media try to create a false narrative by saying he was recovered instead of writing very clearly that he was released by the state? So these are the two questions right now that people are asking all over the internet and all over social media. Okay? So these are the two main points here. So we have Imran Riaz Khan, who was finally released by the very state managers who claimed they did not know where he was, which is most probably their show of good faith towards the agreement that they want Imran Khan to work on with them. And number two, they have decided to move Imran Khan from Atak jail, where they thought they could break him, towards Adiala jail, where he was supposed to go in the first place. So yeah, because in Atak jail, they kept him in the smallest cell possible. They tried to torture him mentally. They tried to torture him generally. They tried to make life difficult for him. They did not allow him to visit his lawyers. They did not allow him to visit his family, his wife. They did not allow him to get food. They tried slow poisoning him. They tried everything they could. But at the end, they failed. They only gained the wrath of the public and the world, and they just bitterly failed. And Nawaz Sharif and Shehbaz Sharif and Maryam Nawaz and Zardari and Benazir and the other politicians who claim to have been to jail, they never went to jail. They were put in guest houses where they had servants and they had cooked meals coming from home and they had change of clothes. And Nawaz Sharif even went up to that point where he would, break down walls to reconstruct, the so-called cell according to his liking. Keep that in mind and think about that when you think about the PTI members and Imran Khan in jail, and then you think about these drama queens, these farce of a people, these absolute dipshits, Zardari and his family members, Nawaz Sharif and his family members, and their political party members. Think of them when they talk about going to jail, and then think of Imran Khan and PTI members who actually have been to real life jail, and then talk about who can bear what and who can tolerate what and who breaks what and what breaks home. So, this is it for now, and this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz. Until I get something more worth talking about. So, I'm not going to talk about all the little things that are going on. I'm just trying to, talk about the things that, that are really. The things that are actually forcing us to comment and react on, and showcasing the hypocrisy, the idiocy of the state managers, showcasing the madness, showcasing the insanity of the world, by the way, as well. Showcasing the hypocrisy of the world, showcasing how America's interference has proved detrimental all over the world, and showcasing how traitors and fifth columnists, how they work, what they do, how they expose themselves in their stupidity. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. So yeah, let's see what comes next and what I'll find worth commenting on. Yeah. So hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I'm out. Khuda Hafiz.